in the evening here.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow, it's still bright outside.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, very much so. Really, very bright.
Nice.
All right. So welcome everybody to another Sunday morning cafe here at Dare to Share. It's so lovely to have you, Daniel. We all know you, so welcome again. And we have Isa joining us from, where are you coming from today, Isa?
Belgium, where my village's name is Gottechamp, which is called the Path of God. Couldn't be better.
No kidding. I'm sure everybody would love to jump on that bandwagon, you know, and get onto the path to God. But wow, that's amazing.
It is.
And so today, I was hoping to well, this is your first time, Isa. Would you like to give a quick intro, who you are, what you do, what you believe in, and why you're so awesome?
What I believe in. Hi, my name is Eva Berber. So I'm from Belgium. But I've been traveling very widely in this beautiful world. I've had the chance to live in San Francisco, Palo Alto, and then in Vancouver, Canada. I've been living there for 3 years as well. Came back to Belgium, met my husband. We had 2 children together, and then we flew to Vietnam, where we stayed for 7 years. And we went to the Philippines, and we came back to Belgium. We stayed there for 8 years, and then we went to China, Beijing, for another 5 years. So we've been around, and in all these different parts of the world, I have been different kinds of person. And so I would say the most recent thing is I'm a child whisperer. So you would ask, what the heck is a child whisperer? Is that not only am I talking with children and trying to mediate between the kids and their parents, but as we all know, I don't know if you guys have kids at all, sometimes children, they come and put like mirrors up. And so it comes and touches inside into our inner child. And so when I work with parents and children together, I'm very often go to the inner child of the parents. And then as we can see what is happening there, what needs to be mended, what needs to be readdressed and so forth. And then communication with the actual children can get better by doing this. I also tell stories. Ever since the confinement here in Belgium, I've been telling stories every day at 11 a.m. in the morning for Belgian children. And I have about 100 children joining into a Zoom conference and live on my page. And we're having a blast, and I'm having a blast. And I just love it. And the return I got from that is so beautiful. Yeah. So voila. That's what I am. So the thing how I get to be a child whisperer is by hypnosis and trance, which I did with Stephen Gilligan in California, but in Beijing as well, because he came to China. Yeah. And I followed him. And then as I came back to Belgium, I followed another teacher here for trauma and post-traumatic stress disorders. And so that's who I am. And many other things.
That's one hell of a bio, but wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And I love how you're taking the opportunity to create this gift during the time of constraint and confinement, right? Yeah. And so
it's been wonderful to do that.
Yeah. And I think, well, everybody's feeling a bit constricted and confined. As we had talked about just before I started recording this, was today's topic in today's morning discussion is A Beautiful Constraint. It's a book by Adam Morgan and Mark Barden, and we're going to touch on it and hopefully see where the conversation goes, and maybe we can come up with some ideas, even more ideas, very much like yours, on how to really show up and be of service and maybe contribute during this time of confusion, of fear, whatever people may be going through. Is that okay with you guys? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So I actually have a little excerpt from the book I would love to read to you and see where we go, okay? So in this book, a constraint is a limitation imposed by outside circumstances or by ourselves that materially affects our ability to do something. Constraints fall into 4 different groups. Constraints of foundation, where we are limited in something that is usually seen as a foundation element for success. Constraints of a resource, where we are limited in an important resource, such as money or people. Constraints of time, we are limited in the amount of time we have to do something. And finally, constraints of method, where we are limited by having to do something in a certain way. Now, this is a lot of information, and I would love to give a couple examples of how constraint actually created something so beautiful. So, are you guys familiar with a man named Larry Page?
No, can't say I am.
I guarantee you that you use what he's created almost every single day of your life. Almost.
Oh.
This is the creator of Google.
Oh. Okay. Yep.
So Larry Page created Google, and obviously it's a simplistic design. You got the bar, you got the search, and maybe a couple other buttons, but that's it. And a pretty cool graphics that says Google, and it changes every occasion, right? The reason behind it wasn't simply just out of design. It was out of constraint. Larry Page created it because he couldn't code anything more elaborate than that. So what he said was, okay, I'm going to slap this together, and that's pretty much what the limitations of my skills are, and we're going to go with it. And as you can see today, it's grown into some massive, gigantic tool that everybody's using, right?
Mm-hmm. If I'm not wrong with this, Larry Page went to a Montessori school when he was a young child.
Wonderful.
And by going to a Montessori school, he could so develop his creativity because he was left alone. And by that meaning that he took his time to develop in himself what he needed to develop. I just wanted to say that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Daniel?
I got nothing to add. No rebuttal.
Wonderful. Yeah, so you see the creativity really transpires and transforms whatever's offered in this world in so many ways. And I love how creativity is all within us. And we all have this innate creativity within us that shines in so many different ways. And that's what creates our uniqueness, right? And finally, are you guys familiar with another person? His name is Shigeru Miyamoto.
Totally.
Okay. So again, Shigeru Miyamoto is a person who created one of the most iconic video games out there that everybody knows. He created a character with a hat, a mustache, a large nose. He goes, Yahoo! And he's jumping everywhere. And he was a plumber, but everybody knows Mario. Are you familiar with Mario, Isa?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. So if you think about it, the technical constraint that Shigeru was actually faced with was that he's working with what they called 8-bit technology back then. In order for him to create this animated character, he had to accentuate the nose. He didn't want to animate the hair, so he gave him a hat, right? And then he gave him a mustache so that it would actually accentuate his facial expression. So you can actually see if he's smiling, if he's frowning, or if he's whatever, right? So these are a couple examples of what comes out of constraint. So now, Isa, you've given us a perfect example of what constraint can do for one's, I guess, life purpose or business is you've created this storytelling time, right? How did you come to that? Like, what was the trigger that said, I need to create this story time?
The trigger was actually when we heard on the news that Belgium was going to be confined and that daycares and schools were going to close. And well, I am a grandmother as well. Lots of people here in the village, they couldn't take care of their children because they had to go to work, and then they had nobody to take care of their children. And then, you know, when things are right, they come to you, and you just don't question them. You go with the flow. You go with the thing. And so this storytelling was like, okay, Isa, you know how you are a great storyteller, so just go for it, just do it. And I was like, okay. So on WhatsApp, we have this group with most of the people of our village. It's a very small village, and it's very small. And so I wrote, you know, pushed by some inner power, I guess, I wrote this note and I went like, okay, well, if you guys like, I would like to tell stories to your children, and we'll do that by Zoom conference, video conference. And they all went like, oh, this is a great thing. This is a great thing. So we started the first day, and I went like, oh my God, there's going to be like 15 children from the village following me, and I'm going to have to tell these stories. And then I got to do it, and then it went, because what you do is you take what you did and you put it on Facebook, and you go like, hey, look what I did. You know, I had this idea, and I have like 20 kids following me. Next day, I had 80 kids following me. And the next day of that, I had like 120 people asking me, oh, can I join? Can I join? Because and then it built it from there. And now we're going to a time where almost 4 weeks later, I still have like about 50 people connecting every day at 11. And then I do have live, because some people have problem installing the Zoom app. So I do it live on my page as well. And I put it on my YouTube channel. So yeah, there it goes. And like it went like, boom, Isa, do it. You know? And I love it. And I think it's great. And I think it's fantastic. So yeah, that's how I started.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And this whole concept of giving and people connecting, especially during this time of isolation, it's a scary thing. I mean, to be isolated. And that's, again, why I created this platform too, is to connect with awesome people such as yourselves. So, well, I mean, you're well connected to the rest of the world, but not everybody is. And it's really nice to see that there are people like yourself who are able to create that platform for people to connect. Right?
Thank you. But you know what is amazing too is every day at 11, well, at 5 minutes before 11, we all get into this conference room, and you see all these kids getting, Mom, it's starting, Mom, put the thing up. and it feels like we're all in this thing together, like everybody in his own living room, but all together. And that is the greatest feeling. And it's so nourishing for me too, and gives me such an energy that every day, you know, it's fun to start again.
Yeah.
And that's a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if it's going to be a constraint question, but would you say this whole thing ends, would you continue it or evolve it in a different way? Do you have an idea for that or no?
Actually, it gave me thousands of ideas that came to me. The most incredible thing is that I didn't want to be known just as a storyteller. I wanted to be the therapist, you know, the therapist who helps people. But now, by doing this storytelling, it gave me the idea that that exactly is what I need to help people, is to help them tell their stories and help them to find a way out of the stories that aren't feeling right, and have a better outcome to it. And so the storytelling is now taking the centerpiece of everything that I'm going to do. So yes, I'm going to continue. I'm going to make videos more than Zoom conferences, but I will also do, probably what I would love to do is to do workshops where I can help parents to know why telling stories, what stories to tell, how telling the stories, and what it brings to the children, and what the children are going to get out of it, and in that way help the parents to be better parents, and to have better times with their kids. So I think it really gave me this kick in the butt, if I may say so, to do it, and that's wonderful.
Awesome. Dan, you got anything else?
No, I think it's absolutely astounding what you're doing.
Sorry, we can barely hear you, Daniel.
Okay, that's my bad. That's why I was trying to work on things because I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, no, better.
Yeah, it's much better now.
Yeah, of course it is. But no, it's not. It's absolutely wonderful what you're doing. It really is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so Isa came up with this awesome idea, and she's still getting thousands coming, flooding in, I'm sure, every day. Question to you, Daniel, is during this time of constraint, what have you learned about yourself? Or maybe something that you can share that maybe you have something in the works and in the grind in the background that's about to emerge for yourself?
That's a difficult question. I'm not somebody like, sorry, I'm going to mess up your name.
Isa.
Lisa?
Isa.
Isa, sorry.
No problem.
Where something will come to my mind and it's going to happen. I get spurts of ideas, but I rarely act on them. So at the moment, no, to answer your question, no, I do not.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What was your last cool idea that came to mind, and what stopped you?
Oh man, it's just laziness. I'm going to be very frank here. Laziness.
Okay. Yeah. So what were you thinking of doing?
Actually, I wanted to do a video on like cell phones because I don't know if there's tech savvy people in here, but I'm a very huge fan of Sony and their phone line. And here in North America, we don't have that. So I actually wanted to like kind of do a video informing people why they should consider Sony to be their next phone. But I just lazy. I'm just scared too, man. Like there's so many people out there, and I don't know if you've actually encountered this yet with your book thing, but there's so many people out there that are just arses, like just annoying trolls that think they know everything. And I know once that happens, I tend to not react well to them, and not in a crazy or get angry, but like I want to instigate that, and and then it becomes a pass. Anyways, that's why it's just too much thought process.
Yeah. And that's a really good point to bring up too, is because for myself, I create YouTube videos and I create these spaces as well. And to be honest, there's tons of people who do the same thing. Mm-hmm. I could be like yourself and say, I don't want to go through the judgment. I don't want to be faced with negativity. But at the end of the day, for me, what's really worked for me, if I may offer you what's worked for me, is knowing that it's not for me or it's not about me.
Yes, very true.
Very much so like Isa. I mean, I'm sure she's not reading the stories for herself. She's reading it for these wonderful people that want to listen and tune in and listen to her voice. And in case you haven't seen Isa's stuff, mind-blowing. She's so animated. She got this sound effects like that, and it's so beautiful, and you will not get this on any TV show. You can't. It's not replicable. It's so unique and it's so in the moment that whatever comes out of her mouth is just child whisperer music, man. I don't know.
You're gonna make me flush here, like you.
I'm gonna look her up.
Yeah.
I'm looking. What's your Facebook? Sorry, I don't mean to detract. What's your Facebook?
We'll get that. We'll get that
at the end. Okay.
Like my name you see on the video here. It's that name, and I've got two. You need to find my picture.
It's fine. We'll get all that at the end, he says. So
yes.
We'll do that.
No, but Daniel, what I wanted to say is like and thank you so much, Alexander. This is wonderful the way you talk about me, and it makes me like I don't like people talking about me like that, even if it's feeling very good. But when I was starting these stories, I looked up other people who were doing it, and there were so many others and much better like actors, French actors and so forth that were doing it. And I went like, who the heck do I think I am to do things like that when you have those actors doing that? And I had people coming back, mothers that were writing to me, and they say, every day we're there at 11, you're part of the living room now, like you're part of our family now, and we cannot miss you. And some other people came back and they said, wow, we saw this actor doing the same thing that you're doing. but then they weren't that good as you are because you're so lively and so on. So you never know. You never know. And you really need like 20 seconds of courage. And those 20 seconds of courage is like, oh, the fuck, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is going to be so hard. Nobody's going to love me. But okay, I'm going for it. And then you do it. And then actually that's where the doors are opening up. And then you go like, whoa. So 20 seconds of courage and you go for it.
Yeah, I've been doing some of these challenges, go live 90-day things. It's helping. It's helping. It really is. It's just still hard. Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate it though.
Of course. And so, if I may, I'm going to take this opportunity to give you a challenge then, because you're all about challenges, aren't you, Daniel?
I am. I like challenges.
Awesome. So we have this group that is private. No one else is able to get into it without being accepted into the exclusive group. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's considered a pretty safe space. I would urge you to make your first video and post it in the group.
Smart.
It doesn't matter what you say or how you do it. It's the act of actually taking that leap. And as Isa said, 20 seconds of courage. 20 seconds could feel like years in that moment, I'm sure. But once you get over that hump, you create that open door, that momentum to just go for it, dive for it.
Fair.
And the coolest part is you're going to be in a safe space. People aren't going to judge you. People aren't going to bash you. So you don't have to worry about negativity. No one here, I can almost guarantee you, no one here is a Sony expert, probably, a little bit lower than you. So you'll be the thought leader in that regard. Mm-hmm. Okay. But to get it out there and just take it. So challenge, accept it or not?
Yeah, I'll do it. Sure.
Wonderful.
Right.
Thank you.
As you post it, I would love for you to type on the description, just saying, Alex told me to do this, or Alex challenged me to do this. Okay. Just so, because I don't want the whole group to start posting these random videos about what they do. And, that's not what the group is about. This is, so because you show up to these morning cafes, this is an opportunity for you to grow. And we want you to help you succeed in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And you'll feel so good about it. You'll ask yourself, why did I wait so long to do this? And you're gonna get into it, and it's gonna be fun, really.
Yeah. And actually, I have exciting news for you guys, is that I'm going to be starting a group coaching program actually very soon for people who want to start building online assets and create their legacy on YouTube and in video form, and start building that portfolio so later on they can share it with either their family, their potential clients, or whoever it is, and to get over that camera shy fear. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you know more, but it's going to be super fun. And I really look forward to seeing your video, Daniel.
It's going to be good. I can assure that. The thing is, I'm not scared about whether or not it's going to be good. I'm just, it's getting to it. That's all.
It's getting to, sorry?
Getting to it, like making it. So let me ask you this. What's your next action that you need to take to get it done? Actually, this actually falls in today's challenge for the other group that I'm doing. It's they asked a question, and I don't mean to detract a lot here, so just bear with me for like 2 seconds. I took a screenshot. They said here, so they're like, what one topic can you create a video about? Which is what we're actually discussing right now. And then it just goes on to say, like, what's the win that the viewer will get? 3 to 5 bullet points, and then what's a story example that you can make it you. So actually, you fall, like, you're reading stuff. All these questions I noticed right away when you were talking about your book stuff. So yeah, so this actually falls with that. So it's in tandem.
Wonderful. And well, I don't know if you saw the episode, but I had Daniel on my last podcast, Isa, and we were talking about the fear of success. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh man.
And it was a wonderful episode, and thank you again for being part of that, because so many people are scared of it. And to be honest, as I spoke to you or about you, Isa, and you said, "Oh, I don't like to be spoken about in this certain way. I'm going to feel flushed." To me, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a tiny little bit of fear,
Oh, definitely. Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm very scared about success. Like I don't know how to handle that. I
Right.
know how to handle not being successful, but success, I don't know. I have no idea. And so yeah, that scares me. True.
Okay. And so if you don't mind, I'd love to touch on that just a little bit.
Go ahead.
And maybe whoever is listening or whoever are the viewers that are watching will be able to tap into whatever maybe insights you come up with, and then they won't feel so scared. Is that all right with you?
Sure.
Wonderful. So the fear of success. If I were to ask you, in what particular are you scared of?
Is to I have this tendency of starting new things. I love starting new things. I touch many, many, many different things. My whole life has been like thousands of things that I've done. I've lived many different lives. The problem is that holding on to something and keep it going, keep it working, because I go on, I do something, I do it well, I do it for a certain time, but then when I get like, okay, I know how this goes, I know how this thing, fine, I know how to do it, let's do something else. And then I put this out of the way, but I never go to real success actually. So I believe this is a fear of success because I don't know how to handle it. I have no control over it. That's the big thing, I think.
That's a really good point. So I would assume you enjoy having the control, but once you start losing that grip, so would you say you start losing the grip when you get to the point of, oh, I get the hang of it, I know it well enough, and then put it aside?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you were to go a little bit further? Say for the last thing that you did, I don't know whatever that may be.
Oh my God, so many things.
Great. Pick one. The first thing that comes to mind.
Well, for example, I followed the whole course to be a Montessori teacher.
Wonderful.
I did the whole course. I did the 9 months of training, and then we had to do the exams and to get the certification and everything. And there I went like, well, I did the whole thing, went to school, got it. I understand what they're saying. I did the whole training thing. That's fine. No need to do the certification. And why didn't I do the certification? Because I was so scared to fail and so scared to not get it. And so I prefer to say, no, not me, don't need that, instead of trying to do it and go to the end of it. And it's been like this with a lot of things.
Yeah.
See, even my dog agrees. So.
And so, say, for example, imagine for a moment, say you did fail.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that you would, but say that you did. What would that mean to you, and how would that affect you?
That go back in my childhood where my parents would say that I wasn't good enough, or that I wasn't smart enough, or that I would never get to anything, or these things. This is something from way back, never being recognized for what I could do. And you know, like 50 years ago, in my upbringing, women was just good to get married, to get children, be a housewife, and just, you know, shut up and do what we think you should do. And so I never gave myself enough credit to tell myself, you're smart, you can do a lot of things. And that is still holding on to this day.
If we take a moment just to talk about a brief snapshot of what's going on now. You've gone with Stephen Gilligan. You've done all the training of trance. You've created this platform where hundreds of kids join you. You have the Montessori, basically it's like a black stripe and you're almost right at the black belt of Montessori. And you're saying that you can't do many things because women aren't supposed to, or you're
Well, that,
upbringing.
yeah, sorry.
Sorry, that's okay. Go ahead.
It's a false belief that I kept in my brain, and where I built everything that I wanted to build on, that held me into this, what we call a neuromuscular block, is where you don't have the power to go on your road because you have this false belief holding you back. So I've been learning to cut that and go ahead. And that's why I do now the things that I'm doing. I'm finally there. It's like, yay!
So would
Loosening
you
up.
say, wonderful, wonderful. And so would you say that you're able to, how far along the route are you to cut that limiting belief?
Oh, it's done.
It's done.
Actually, ever since I started the stories now with the confinement, it's been like, for me, the confinement has been this great lightning thing of opening up all the doors and telling me, now is the time. If you lose that time, you'll never do it. So go for it. And I went like, okay, let's do this. And then I met you, and then I met, like, it's like, whoop, 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 everything comes to places. Whenever you give yourself the permission and you go like, okay, cut loose from these beliefs, go for it. We'll see what happens.
Right.
And things happen, Daniel, really.
I believe you.
So I would love to maybe put a lens over that moment where you decided to leap. That moment where you said, no, I'm not going to get this time back. This is my time to take action. Okay. You had these limiting beliefs that held you back before, saying, oh, I can't do this. It's too much. Success is too big, too scared. What kind of thoughts were you having as you decided to jump over the ledge into the storytelling?
No thoughts at all.
Mm.
It was just like, it was, as I said, when in the beginning, when you asked me, it was like this inner power. I lost control. I gave up control. I gave up the control, and the thing just started, and I didn't think about anything. I just went like, okay, let's do this. And then okay, how do I do this? The Zoom conference, and you start looking for things and you put them together, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, whoa, we'll have to tell these stories now. And those kids are watching me, but kids are great. Kids never judge you for anything. They will be natural. And when I'm telling these stories and I see these kids, they're like, wow. And then when I see the faces of the adults at the same level as the children, then I go like, okay, this is it. This is fun. But you don't think it's like this inner power that pushes you forward. And that's what's great. I think that's.
So this inner power, this sense of innate intelligence, or innate creativity, whatever it may be. Is there a certain thing that is driving you at this moment?
What do you mean?
By that, I mean, for me, I don't do it for myself. For you, who are you doing this for?
For the children. I am a fierce believer that if we want to change our world, we have to start within ourselves first. And we have to be an example for the children. And if we want to really change it, we have to start with our children. And to be able to start with our children, we need, the world started with telling us and telling ourselves stories. So if we start telling the kids stories that help them grow, that help them take responsibility, that help them understand that if you make a decision, you have the consequences, and if you're responsible for the consequences, then nothing goes wrong. You're free to go everywhere you want in the world. And that's what's driving me to if I can go even further, the vision would be to have a world with people where people can be who they are, and so be creative, responsible, and loving people with love. Yeah, that's how I would say.
Thank you. I'm gonna put you on pause for just a moment. Then I'm gonna hop to Daniel. Okay.
Yes.
No.
Sorry, Daniel.
No need to be scared. A
I'm
lot
gonna
was
have a
discussed.
drink.
Yes, of course.
That's okay.
Yeah, of
Can we
course.
drink during
What
these
is that?
sessions?
That looks good.
That is an amazing white wine that you would drink.
Oh.
It's a little bit sugary kind of thing. I don't remember the name. Go ahead. I'll go get the bottle. To tell you.
I love it.
So Daniel, a lot was discussed there.
Yes.
What could you take away maybe that would help you in your journey?
I think to letting go of what others may think about it. You know, it's funny because I've preached to others how to make videos and they've done it, like how to do podcasts and all these things, and they've done it and done great things. But when you take into your own, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you can't listen to your own advice and you can't let go because I was actually just discussing this the other day. It's funny because I feel like everybody already has an idea of me. You know, I made a joke. I mean, I was with a friend who's a writer and we were talking about an encyclopedia app that came out for Windows 95, right? And I didn't know what it was genuinely when he told me what it was. And he found that so funny because I am a tech person. Like I know whatever there is to know about computers and whatnot, software. And he's like, oh, it'd be funny if you put that in your chat and so many people would find it funny. I did. I put it in my Facebook status. Nothing. Everybody was super serious. So like, oh, you should really look that up. Oh, I'm surprised you don't know it. Oh, it's because I think that people just have this version of themselves or of me in them because I'm not I'm very to the point kind of thing. I don't do a lot of jokes and whatnot. So it's just that if I do a video, the fear is that I'm gonna miss something. I'm gonna miss one little point that is not the big picture and it's not relevant. But if I miss that little fact, then the flood of whatever is just going to come. Oh, you missed this. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know this. You don't know that. Because it has happened in the past. You know, I had a video game review YouTube page like 6-7 years ago. It was doing really good. We interviewed developers and gamers alike. We went to conferences and all that stuff. But we would talk about games and reviews, and it's strictly our opinion. We would talk about the graphics or what we thought of them and gameplay and all that stuff. And like it wasn't many, but the thing is, the few always outweigh the positive, right? The few negatives are always the outspoken ones. It's never the positive ones. It rarely, anyways, the positive ones. And they would be like, "Oh, you don't know what goes into a game. You don't know what good graphics are. You don't know what good gameplay." Like it just became too much for, especially the people around that I was working with, my co-hosts and stuff like that. And it just, in everything I've done, wrestling, same thing with Volcano. Ages between 10 and like 16, hated him, and but under those ages, 10 and under is okay. But yeah, it's with everything, and it's just so tiresome. Like I have no energy to keep fighting with people, like or don't. There's some videos I watch that I don't like. I don't go on there and be like, hey, you suck. Like how much effort, like this is anyways, yeah.
It sounds like the fact of judgment and the negativity that you think is going to come your way, right? But in fact, it hasn't come yet. The future isn't created yet. And this, to me, is what's really stopping you. Am I hitting that home or am I missing something here?
No, I that, yeah, to the point. Yes, that does sound right. Anyways, yeah.
And we all know that even myself, Isa, you, not everybody's going to like us,
Mm-hmm.
But the truth,
I was gonna say, from if you're doing something and you would get like 10 people commenting on what you're doing, and 9 people say, wow, wonderful, great, beautiful, I just loved it. And then you have this one person who said, you didn't really do the right thing. This fact that you thought you missed and so forth. This is the thing that you're going to hang on to, not the 9 others that were telling you were great. You're going to hang on to one little thing. Do you know the 4 agreements by this Mexican person?
I feel like you guys have a lot of books. I don't read very often.
But the 4 agreements is a great thing, where one of the agreements is that what other people think is their own problem. It's not your problem. What they think is their own.
And you know what's funny is I did a video yesterday for a challenge, and I did discuss that when somebody does heckle you or somebody does say something about you, it's not a reflection about you. It's a reflection that they're not doing something that's satisfying them, so they have to take it out on somebody. You see, I know, I just don't, I don't want to do it. So, yeah.
So you know what may be coming. You can anticipate it. If you can anticipate the problems, I can almost guarantee you that you can anticipate the solutions. So say you got a comment, and I'm going to be very explicit here. So a comment that says, Daniel, your review of the Sony phone sucked. Like, you suck. What kind of thoughts and ideas are you going to hold on to, and will you decide to focus on it?
Well, I think I would go back and see what it is that I did wrong. Maybe cross-reference some of my things that I've said. But yeah, I wouldn't even, I don't know. I wouldn't, the thing is, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how I'd react. Hasn't happened, so I don't know.
So the coolest thing, and I'm sure Isa, you've heard about this concept, is our minds and our brains can't tell the difference between actually physically doing and imagining. So if I may get your permission, Isa and Daniel, take 2 seconds here just to imagine somebody trolling you, bashing you, your video. It's terrible. What kind of emotions are you feeling, and what are you holding on to?
Want to go first, Isa?
No, I'm talking to you.
You go.
Anger, frustration, because you put effort into doing this, whether you go live or an actual, or do a video on it. I feel like you did the effort and you did as much research into whatever it is that you're doing to put it out there. And for somebody to just for 1 second come online and maybe watch 3 seconds of a video, they didn't like your intro, and to base the whole thing off of I don't like this guy's vibe, you suck, is kind of it's stupid, it's dumb, it's annoyingly dumb. I like to use that word because it pisses me off that somebody thinks that, but it's annoying to me that I think that pisses me off. So
okay.
Yeah.
And so our minds are kind of like muscles. Would you agree?
Yes, it is a muscle.
Imagine if my keys here were those negative comments, and this is your mind holding on to it, okay? You, as the driver of your body and your mind, have the option to actually hold it tightly, focus on it, look into what you did wrong, pick the nitty-gritty things and agree with them, or you can just let go.
It makes sense. Easier said than done, but yes, it makes sense. Yeah, I have no rebuttal. Plead the fifth.
Wonderful. Isa, is anything landing for you? Anything you want to add?
No, it's all pretty clear, of course. Sure. The only thing I would say, if somebody are, like we said, what they're saying is negative and so forth, it's mostly because they are, it's like a mirror to themselves, right? So they're answering and they're telling themselves, but because they cannot tell themselves, they're telling you. So the only way I would react to those kind of people now, knowing not before, is I would go back to this person and say, gosh, you know, you don't even know how stupid I can be sometimes. And you don't even understand how, and you're telling this guy, you go his own way and you're saying, yeah, I feel myself such a stupid person and doing this, it's really crazy and so forth. So it's going to stop this person to tell you the negative things, is going with them.
You have to kill them with kindness.
Yes,
thing.
kind of thing.
And it also sounds like you're giving them power.
Mm-hmm.
You allow them to determine whether or not you're good or not, or doing the right thing. In the end, we need to come back to who we're actually doing this for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look at whether it matters to that person.
True.
Right? So I urge you to figure out who you're doing it for. And once you do that, those are the people you want to focus on. And maybe not the people that will try and slash you down. Right?
Fair.
Does that help?
Sure. It does. No, everything you guys are saying is making sense. And I'm sure I'm not showing it, but I'm gonna put into practice other ways so that I can, you know, because the thing is, I do videos for other companies for the most part. I speak on behalf of like so many other people, and I think that's why I do it, because if there's judgment, it's not judgment on me, it's judgment on the company's beliefs, right? It's not on me. So, but yeah, I think it's, yeah, just scared to go on it on my own.
Okay, so this was my initial invitation, is that you don't have to do it on your own anymore. You have the entire group to support you, give you the feedback you need in a loving and caring way. And to be honest, it's not judgment. It's actually simply feedback. Feedback, whether it be good or bad, it doesn't matter. What you do with it is up to you. But feedback will tell you if you're good or you need to change.
This is not your lane, Daniel. Go another way. Okay, sounds good. I shall.
Awesome. Cool. We're getting near the end here of the hour. This was really fast, by the way.
It was really fast, like 5 minutes. I want to share.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
Montbazillac.
I want to, hang on. I want to get a quick...
It'll be captured on video. You can...
Fair enough.
Oh
I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that.
So,
Sorry.
so
yes,
we were having this Zoom conference with this drunk Belgian person at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
she was holding a bottle of Montbazillac. Crazy girl.
We need to say that it's not morning where she is.
It's not morning. It's no. It's 7:30 in the evening.
See.
So we are in apéro time. It's Easter, and that's why we're drinking this.
There you go.
Cheers.
Wonderful.
Happy Easter, guys.
Yes, happy Easter indeed. And I want to say thank you again for both showing up today. It was wonderful. For those that are watching, the viewers, it's going to be fantastic for them, especially for those trying to get over the fear of success, right? Isa, I want to remind you that you are doing some fantastic stuff. Keep going. Amazing. I will definitely put all the information that you give.
I want to
share it with the viewers, because I want everybody to experience the storytelling with Isa. My God, man, this
real quick. It's in English, right? Or
she has 2.
Well, yeah, I've got 2. The most are in French, and the English I was gonna stop. Actually, I was gonna stop.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna.
because I thought nobody was there. Like the last one I did Wednesday, I was by myself. Like I was talking to myself, telling myself stories, and so I thought, well, this isn't working quite as well as the French one. But what I'll be doing is I'll be recording the English stories at different times, because the time zones are too difficult to manage to have people in the conference.
And that could be why you don't have any English people, probably because they're not awake at that time.
Yep. So. Exactly.
3 a.m. story time with Isa.
Yeah. So if you guys have English storybooks to send to me, please do so, because I don't have much here.
Sure, will do. I will put that all in the description below. Daniel, we look forward to your video. Isa,
thank you.
We're definitely going to share your stuff. And I wish you both a wonderful Easter. Have a wonderful evening, day. And let's go out there and have some fun.
Thank you very much for being there.
Awesome.
Have a good day, guys.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.